Alright guys, so this is going to be the second part to my eyeshadow collection, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So the first palette is pretty new to my collection. This is what it looks like. This is from Glamlight and it's the Pizza palette. I do like the picture of it and I think it's a really nice palette and I love the colors inside. Like I said, this is pretty new to my collection. It has really pretty shades, a lot of mattes, a few shimmers, which you guys know that's my preference. I believe they're still having a sale right now. I'm not too sure by the time that I upload this video, but definitely look out and subscribe to their newsletters because they usually have really great deals on their palettes. And you can also go ahead and use the code GLAM15 for 15% off. And yeah, I really like this one. Another Glamlight palette that I have here is actually the Glamlight Pink palette, and I really like how it has a clear cover and then you open it up and it has all these shades. I appreciate how they did matte shades around and then shimmers, and then yeah, it just is Glamlight here in the middle. I really like the shades in here. I haven't gotten to try this on my eyes. I've just done a couple of swatches. I've swatched turquoise, light green, and gold, but they are really pretty. I really love the shades in here and I feel like it's a nice way to get creative, and I love the packaging. So this is a Sugar Pill Capsule Collection Volume 1, or C1 I believe it's what they call it. But yeah, this is what the palette looks like. As you guys can tell, they are all different shapes of eyeshadows, but I really love the mattes in here as well as the shimmers. I think this one's really pretty. It was sold out for actually a pretty long time, which is why I went ahead and picked it up on Sugar Pill whenever they restocked, and lucky for me they had a sale. So yeah, I'm really happy with this palette and I really like the pink. I really love the shape of it too. It's not too bulky, it's actually really sleek. And then we have the C2, and this is what this one looks like. I have done a video on it. I've done a video where I did like trying on new Ulta makeup, and I used this palette in that video. I didn't really know how I feel about it in that video. After looking back at the footage and actually looking at the palette, I actually really do like it and I think it's really nice. I would definitely save some money on this. I don't think, well, they're $42, which is not too bad, but I definitely think you guys can wait for like a 20% off coupon code from like Ulta, or sign up to Sugar Pill's newsletters to save some money. Also, Sugar Pill does have these on their website, I believe, as a bundle for $75. And then next we have the Suva Beauty. So this is what the Suva Beauty Block Party palette looks like. I really enjoy this palette. I think it has a really pretty color story. Unfortunately for me, I haven't gotten to try it a lot on my eyes. I don't believe I did, but I definitely want to use this in like a throwback palette because it's an older palette, but I feel like it needs attention, and I do think it's still available on their website. Then I have the Persona Identity palette, and this one is the first palette. This one I did get on sale at Ulta when they were having like an Ulta 21 Days of Beauty. I hope they do it for the second one because I'd love to try the second one and it has more color variety. But yeah, this is the first edition. Now, throwing it back all the way to the first palette that Glamlight released, this is the Masterpiece palette. If you open up the palette, this is what the shades look like. I have thought about decluttering this palette for some time, but then I actually was just like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and just keep it. I definitely want to have all of the palettes that she's released, and this one is very neutral, which isn't something that I feel like she does more like very often now. She does throw in neutrals in there, but it's mainly like a colorful brand. So I'm actually super excited to try this one out. I actually have played around with this one or two times, but I definitely want to create more looks with it. And then next is another palette from Give Me Glow, and this one I've also thought about decluttering, but unfortunately I couldn't get the chance to buy the newer staple version before it sold out, and it's now discontinued. So this one came out first. This is the OG formula, and then they released like a reformulated version. The shadows aren't bad, but they are a bit drier. They're not like their new formula. I feel like their new formula is a little bit better. If anything, I think my least favorite shade in this palette is Two Moods. But other than that, it's still really pretty, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep this one. This is the Ace Beauté Quintessential palette. and this is what the palette looks like. I really like this one. I do have the smaller version of it, however this one has more shades. I really like Rose, and I like this bottom blue shade. I remember this was the first palette that Ace Beauté released, and ever since then I've been hooked on their brand. This one's such a good palette and I really love it. And then we have this It's My Ray Ray BH Cosmetics 15 color shadow palette, and this is her newer one. I believe they're about to take it off. I think it's already discontinued. If not, they're about to discontinue it. I prefer this color story to her first one. The first one is really pretty, but it's more neutral. I really like how she did like partner shades, where this one's a burgundy and then it's a burgundy shimmer, and then this one's a purple and a purple shimmer. I think this one just correlates a little bit better, and I really enjoy the formulation of her shadows with BH. This is from an indie brand, and this is Mia Cosmetics. I believe she still has that name right now on her Instagram. I just really like the color story. There's 2 shimmers in this palette total, and the rest are matte, and they're really colorful and they're really pigmented, so I'm super happy to have this one, and I really like the packaging. Next is from Creative Soul Cosmetics, and this is the Harvest palette, and this one came out around the holidays, around the time that Carly Bybel released her palette. I really like this one. It does have glitters, which aren't my favorite. If anything, I wish they would have just been shimmer. I think that would have complemented them way more. But they're glitters, unfortunately. Really fun glitters nonetheless. I really do like the color story of this one, especially when I saw the swatches I was hooked. So I really like this one. Next we have this Jeffree Star X Shane Dawson Conspiracy palette. I feel like this one was super hard to get. I was on the site for like an hour, but I got it off of Morphe. I think that's where I purchased my palettes. So this is what the shades look like. I have done a video with this palette where I try out this one. I don't try the smaller one, but I do have that one as well. You guys will see that in a future video, but yeah, I really do like it. It's a really nice packaging. I do have to find ways to store them. Like under this one, under the Conspiracy palette, as you guys can probably see in the corner, I have the Blue Blood. This one I wasn't going to pick up, I'm not gonna lie. I was pregnant when this palette released, and I honestly just wasn't into makeup like that, so I didn't buy it until I saw that it was on sale. I think I bought this palette for like 30 bucks. The color story is really pretty. You have all these blues and teals and shimmers, and they're just really gorgeous. I really do like the colors in here. And then of course what started it all was the Blood Sugar, and this palette I honestly have only used so many times. I've probably used it like a couple times. I can't get it open. But yeah, this is what the Blood Sugar palette looks like, and I feel like all of his palettes do that weird little square thing. But yeah, this palette is really pretty. I like the neutrals on top. I like the reds and burgundies at the bottom, and before there weren't a lot of cosmetic brands doing shades like these, so I was really intrigued. Okay, and then back here we have the ABH Veena. This is the volume 1. I know a lot of people don't really like her or have mixed feelings about her palettes. However, I've seen so many people say really good things about them. And as soon as they came out, I just wanted to get them. When I see a color story and I have the money, I just jump on it because I really do like ABH as a brand. So you open her up, has a huge mirror, and then this is what the shades look like. I did see that Kuma Pants on Instagram. I'll leave her Instagram right here. She did redo the color story, and it looks so much better. However, I don't want to damage it. I'll hate myself if I damage something that I love, so I'm just gonna keep it like this. If they were easily magnetic, I would totally rearrange it, but I believe they are glued to the palette down below, and you have to use like a lighter and stuff like that. So I really enjoy this palette. It's super pretty. I love the range of purples, the yellows in here, like the gold, the pinks, the reds, the blue. Definitely such a good palette. Okay, and then we have the ABH Veena volume 2. So this one I like the packaging of. It just reminds me of like those notebooks you would buy when you were like in high school. So this is what the color story inside looks like. Kuma Pans actually rearranged all of these, so yeah, you should definitely look at her Instagram. But I love the color story in here. This one's so much fun. It speaks to me. I think out of all three of them, this one would be the one I would repurchase if all of my eyeshadow collections were to disappear and I could only keep like 10. This one would definitely be like one of my top palettes. Okay, and then we have the ABH Veena collection. This is volume 3. Sorry, I need to be careful when I open these up. So this one again is a beautiful color story. It came out around the fall. I was super excited to get these, and I just really love the color story of this one. Okay, and then here we have the Colored Rain. This is the Vivid Pigments. However, I purchased these singles whenever the palette was first released. So in here I have some Makeup Geek eyeshadows. So yeah, this one's not like a palette you can buy. I mean, I think you can buy the bundle, but this is like a palette that I bought the bundle shades, and then this palette came with the singles. But I put my singles into bigger palettes that you guys will see in the future. But yeah, I really do like the Makeup Geek formula. Let me just do some quick swatches. That purple's terrible, but I love the blues in here, and the green and the red. They're really good quality. Okay, towards the bottom I have the Give Me Glow Summer Vibes palette. This one is one of my favorite palettes from Give Me Glow. I really loved this palette, and I think the shades are just super good. I love the shades in here. You can buy them individually, so if you only like a select few shades, you can totally buy the singles by themselves. But yeah, I really love the palette as a whole. I think it's fun, and I really like the neutrals as well as the mattes in here, and like all the fun colorful shades. So this one is coming out, like it's being restocked with a new cover. I hope to get the new cover because it has like palm trees and stuff like that, but this one is pretty nice if you already have it. I mean, it's just a clear white. And then this is the Juvia's Place, the Nubian 2, and you guys, this is one of my favorite Juvia's Place palettes. I've used this so much. I know it doesn't look like I've used it, but I just clean my palettes every now and then so it doesn't look too dirty. But I have loved this palette for so long. Morocco, Madagascar, Jezebel, Kenya. I think I've always used like these two shades the most, and then I love Zuri as a highlight and as an eyeshadow. I really like all of these palettes so much. Juvia's Place is like one of those brands that if they come out with something new, I'm always excited. Okay, and then we have the BH Ultimate Artistry Shadow Palette, and this one I believe is the first edition that came out. So yeah, this is the first edition. This one comes, like, I want to show you guys because it's a pretty big palette, but it comes with a ton of shimmers, a ton of neutrals, some mattes in here that are colorful. But I really do like the shadow formula of these. I just feel like they're so nice and creamy, and I just love this. I feel like the packaging is a little bit bulky, but I definitely do like the color story. Then this one is the Ultimate Matte 42 color palette. Sorry if I'm going off to the side, but yeah. So unfortunately for this shadow right here, my son digged his nail into it, and it's like the prettiest shade in the whole palette. But I really like this palette. If you don't like too much of the shimmers in the original, and you just want like a matte colorful palette, I highly recommend this one. It's really nice. Okay, and next is the Ultimate Neutrals Shadow Palette. This is just the one with a bunch of neutrals in it. This one, I actually like the formula of these a little bit better, and I like how it's like all shimmer and then like all matte at the top. So I decided to keep this one, and I sold my 35O just because I like this one a little bit better, and they end up being the same formula anyway. And that one, I think I decluttered those last year, so you guys didn't see that. I think I decluttered them like a while back. But this is the Ein Bright Matte color, well, 42 color palette from Beauty Bay, and I love Beauty Bay. I definitely think that they are such a good brand and I love ordering from them. I order from them so much. I just really like this palette. I really love the color story and the mattes, and they're really pigmented, and I just love shades like these. Like I'm a big fan of rainbow palettes that do like all blues, all purples, all greens, all oranges, all pinks, and then the neutral row. There also is like an all shimmer and then one that has shimmers and mattes, so you have a variety to pick from of colorful palettes. Next we have the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Jawbreaker palette. This came out, and I'm usually really quick to jump on Jeffree Star Cosmetics launches, but this one I waited a while to get. And I ended up getting it at the Morphe store, and you know what, I looked at it, and then like I think like 2 weeks later I went back and I actually bought it because I just really wanted it, and I'm so glad I got it. It's a really good palette. I like the pastels, I like the bright shades, I like the shimmers. It's really, really good. I've seen some people rearrange this one as well, and they kill it every single time. I wish that it would have been a little bit more coherent, but it's still really pretty. Okay, so next we have the Sample Beauty, the Paradigm Shift palette. I remember getting dragged so hard whenever I first announced that I had this palette in my first eyeshadow collection video. I was getting told so many times how to pronounce it. I know it's Paradigm now, but I love this palette. It's such a good palette. I was going to declutter this. I was already having it up on my Mercari. I was already going to sell it. But then I was like, you know what? I've never actually used this palette on my eyes. So I put it on my eyes and I took it immediately off of my Mercari because it's so freaking good. I have the volume 1. They do have a volume 2, and I believe it is on sale, or it does go on sale. But I highly recommend picking up this palette. It's so good. I love the formula. It doesn't swatch great at all. Like, it sucks at swatches, but on the eyes and with the base, it's amazing. Then for, you know, just because it was on sale and they were having free shipping, I ended up getting the Makeup Shack Rainforest palette. So this is what the palette looks like at first, and it does look like the James Charles palette, but then I actually got to look at the color story, and I feel like there are very similar shades, but it's still different enough that I wanted it in my collection, so I picked it up and I really, really love it. Next we have some NYX palettes, and oh god, I love these. Okay, so this is the NYX Professional Makeup Swear By It palette. I know so many people were like, $30, $35 is so expensive for NYX, and it is, but Ulta does have sales, and they also do have a lot of points, and NYX is always doing sales on their palettes as well, like 30% off, 25% off, so you don't technically always pay full price. I mean, if you're eager and you want to pay full price, go ahead and do it, but I've always gotten these on sale when they're doing like buy one get one free, or NYX 40% off, 30% off. That's when I usually take advantage and grab one. So this is the Swear By It. It has blues, greens, mustards, berry tones. I just feel like no one's ever done something like this, and I think it's super, super pretty. I really, really do like the shades in here. I say really because I really want to emphasize how much I like this palette, and I get excited every single time that I look at it. And then we have the Modern Dreamer. Now this one, I was just like, it's a bunch of neutrals. It didn't inspire me as much as the Swear By It. However, when I looked at the shades, I was actually super excited and super stoked to pick it up. So I know it's a little bit more colorful than the Swear By It, which is what I appreciate. We have some, you know, oranges, yellows, a lime green, some neutrals at the top, again some burgundies and more like darker tones. If you don't want to pick this one up and you want a more affordable option, I feel like this part of the palette does remind me a lot of the Profusion Festival, so you can go ahead and get that if you only like this and you don't like the rest of the palette. However, I got it on sale. I think I paid like less than 30 bucks, maybe like 20 bucks for it, so I thought it was okay, and I actually really love the color story. And then just recently, they actually released their Escape Artist palette, and this one again was on sale on Ulta, so I decided to grab it, and it's so pretty. Compared to the Swear By It and the Modern Dreamer, I feel like it's a mixture of both. It does have a lot more neutrals, and it doesn't have some colorful shades, but when I actually look at it, I mean, this one, I'm not gonna lie, they could have done way more with it. I feel like they could have done some more deeper tones, but I still like the color story. I really still do. If you're not a big fan of the Swear By It or the Modern Dreamer, and you're more of a neutral girl and you just want to make sure you have a palette with a lot of neutrals, but you also do like deeper shades like this. So next is the Beauty Creations Elsa palette. And I love Beauty Creations. They're one of my favorite brands as well. I love their color stories and just the theme of their palettes. These are the Princess palettes that I'm going to show you. So we have some neutrals, some, you know, more blues, colorfuls, and then more neutrals over here. This one is really pretty. I think I was also about to declutter this one, but I just couldn't. It's just so nice to me. And then we have the Olivia palette, which looks like this. And I don't know if I showed you guys this one, but yeah, this one is really neutral. I was almost gonna get rid of it because I thought it was just really boring, but as I got to swatch the shades, I thought it was pretty good. I did appreciate the tones in here. It just has like some really pretty shimmers, and I just felt like it was a good palette. You know, I don't want to get rid of something that I know I'm going to be intrigued by or want to buy back. It's just like no point in doing that. So next is the Beauty Creations Anna palette, and this one I really appreciate as well. It does have some colorful shades, a lot of shimmers, but it still has a good mixture of mattes in here. And I just really like the pinks, the berries, and like the more purple tones down here. I just really like how it starts off light and then it gets a little bit deeper towards the end. And then next we have the Beauty Creations Alicia palette, and this is actually inspired by Alice in Wonderland, which I think is really cute. And this one is so pretty. I love this palette. It just inspired me so much. It inspired me a lot when I first looked at it. I like the green tones, the blues, the pinks in here. As you guys can see, they start to look a little bit different, hopefully. But yeah, I really do like this one. And these don't come with mirrors, by the way. They're just they just say the palette name. Now those were the Princess palettes. This is not a Princess palette. This is just the Frida palette. I first was like, it's inspired by Frida Kahlo, but I'm not gonna get it. But the more I looked at it, I really did think that the color story was absolutely beautiful. So I really, really love this one. I know that they do have sales going on currently, so it's always nice to check them out. But I definitely do recommend their palettes a lot. Okay, so next we're going to move into one of my most favorite colorful palettes, and I did show you guys this one in my first eyeshadow collection video. I had just gone in it and I did a look with it, and I still really love it. So this is the Slush September Rose Cosmetics palette, and it is stunning. Do you guys see the artwork on here? I didn't have that good of a camera, so, you know, it's really nice to be able to show you with better quality. But it has your purples, your blues, your greens, your oranges, and your pinks. And you guys know when they're color coordinated, they look even more stunning because you definitely get to see the variety in tone. And I really love this one. It's really good. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite palettes that I have in my collection. Next is another one from Give Me Glow Cosmetics. This is the Grunge Palette. They have updated the cover since, and I actually hope that they do let us purchase the covers because I'd like to update the packaging. I think the other packaging is much more beautiful. Instead of a background that's gray, it's white. But I really like this palette. I say really a lot, but this is such a good palette. The shimmers in here are phenomenal. Like, do you guys see those shimmers? Give Me Glow Cosmetics shimmers, I definitely think are like foils. Like, they're amazing. Like, they are amazing. So I also really like the mattes in here. We have Teenage Dirtbag, Bonehead, Smells Like Teen Spirit, Punk, Black Hole Sun, Grunge, and Underground. For the longest time, I could not find Underground and Black Hole Sun. I had taken them out of this packaging and I put them in a sugar pill palette, and they are so deep that you would actually not be able to tell, like, if you don't have good lighting, that they are in a palette. Like, it made, if you guys know what the sugar pill palettes look like, if you take out the shadow, it's black underneath, and I could not tell for the life of me where these shadows were. It literally took me like 2 months to find them. Next, we have some palettes from Blush Tribe. At the moment that I'm posting this video, Blush Tribe is shutting down their company, so they are having sales. I don't believe this palette is available anymore, but you guys can definitely check out their website if you're interested. So this is the Paulina Blush Tribe palette. This was in collaboration with her. She's amazing. I really like her. And then this is what the shadows that she picked out. So I really love the color arrangement. We have some greens, some pinks, you know, purples. She made this palette look so good. I love that she always used her palette because it was a color story that she really liked and she killed it. I really think it's super cute. And then next we have the Munasa palette. And this is what this one looks like. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to pick this one up, but the more I looked at the colors, the more I was actually intrigued, so I did go ahead and get it. It's just really fun. It has some warm tones, but it also has some pops of blue, and I just really like the color story of it. Hopefully you guys can see it well. Okay, so the next palette is actually one that I have shown before, and this is the Blush Tribe Blossom Eyeshadow Palette. This one I really like. I did see that Amy Loves Makeup, I believe that's her name, here on YouTube. She did say that this was like a pastel palette, and now that I do think about it, I do feel like it's more pastel than rainbow, just because they are lighter shades, but it's still such a good palette. And I really like how it does have those deeper shades in there, but then we have these shades right here that are a little bit more light. I just think it's a really nice palette. The shades are very sheer. You do have to build them up, but I think it's really nice. Blush Tribe was a sister company to Certify, so if you like Certify, you might want to jump on their sale and pick up some palettes for the low. But yeah, really like this one. Alright, so next we have the Blush Tribe The Fall Fusion, and this is Sandy. I did mention her in my first video. I mentioned her at the palette. Blush Tribe created it, but the people on it are actual influencers, which I think is pretty cool. So this is the Fall Fusion palette, and this is the color story, I believe. Yeah. And Jessica here on YouTube, she actually got to name this shadow after her. It's called Angelica, and this is a super cute palette. I don't think that they have this one anymore on their website, but I really do enjoy the formula of Blush Tribe, so I think this color story is really nice. And then we have some more Beauty Bay. So this is the Me, Myself, and Mitchell palette, Mama Mitchell, and I love this palette. Like, it's super gorgeous. So this is what the more warm side looks like. Super pretty. Hopefully you guys can see that. And then you open the other side and it's all cool tones, and you have like blues and more colors. So this is what the whole palette looks like. And then you get this middle part and it's like a magnetic mirror. Yeah, this palette does retail for I think $36, which I feel like for the price, this is really good quality. You guys, hopefully you guys can see the packaging. Okay, and then we have the Be Perfect Cosmetics X Ja. I don't want to say that makeup artist's name wrong, but this is a collab called the Clientele palette. So I really like Be Perfect Cosmetics. I really like their eyeshadow formula. I have a couple of palettes from them. So once I saw this palette, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up. It looks really good. I really like Kiwi Hard and the burgundy shade Gigi. So yeah, this is a super cute palette. We have Darling, which is a shimmer. It's just really soft but still really fun. So I really like this one. It's really nice packaging too. Okay, so this is the Rose Glam Boutique the Veena eyeshadow palette. So I haven't really purchased much else from the brand, but once I saw that this palette released, I was really intrigued by the colors in here. And this is a Latino owned brand, I believe. I really love the shades in here. It's super pretty, and I also really like the artwork in the front. It's super cute. Okay, so next we have some B Bella GoPro palettes. This is the Pro 1. It has some like warm tones, but also some cool tones, some purples, and then they have glitters at the bottom. I'm not a big fan of glitters or pressed glitters or glitters at all, but these are really nice. And I do really like the shades on top. And the color stories, again, they kind of just go together, so I really do like this one. And then we have the Pro Volume 2, which came out around the holidays, which is why it looks a little bit like Christmas, because this one I believe did release around the holidays. We have some berries, some mustard, some like yellows, and some like mint colors over here, so I just really like them. I really like the way that they arranged this palette. I have some color pop in here, and yeah, so I know that one of you guys commented that I should get this palette in my last video, and I did have them. It's just that I have them in different drawers. But this is a So Jaded palette, Kathleen Lights X Colourpop. I really love this palette. I think this is one of the best color stories that Colourpop ever did. And of course it had to be a collaboration with Kathleen Lights because she tends to do the best color stories. I really like how this one is like zodiac and stuff like that. It's just really nice. I really like the shades that she chose. There's a lot of mattes, there's a lot of shimmers, there's some glitters in here, which I'm not a fan of, but they're still really pretty. Like we have this shade called Topaz, which has really nice like reflex in it. It's like olive and orange and silver. So yeah, I really do like the palette. It's really great. And yeah, I really like the formula. I have done a look with this one as well, if you guys want to check that one out. And then we have the Bare Necessities palette, and I love the packaging of this one as well. Yeah, this is the Bare Necessities palette, and this is the more neutral one. I know a lot of people didn't want to get this one because they're really like, it's just like more neutrals. But you guys, like, if you guys are going to contemplate buying the Nude Mood, the Blush Crush, and the Making Mobs, you might as well just buy this one because it's going to have all three of those palettes in here. Like, they're really easy to dupe. Colourpop tends to dupe their own palettes, and I just feel like this one is better. And there's no pressed glitters, there's just shimmers in here, mattes, some satins, and it's just really pretty. If you're new to makeup and you want to try something that is just going to be easy to do, you're going to have color variety, you can get a little bit smoky, your neutral looks, and then try out some mauves. This is such a good palette and I highly recommend it. Okay, so next we have the It's All Good palette, and this is, I have to say, next to So Jaded, this is my second favorite release that they've ever done. I just really love the colors in here. So this one is just like super pretty. Mine is a little bit dirty. Don't mind the little stain there. I've tried to keep her clean, but that shadow just stained my palette. But I really like the shade called 10 out of 10. It's like a really nice rosy color, and I just really like the shades in here. We have Goal Getter, which is like a nice satin brown. You know, like the shades in here are just really pretty. I definitely love the color story in here so much. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that, but I really like this palette. Okay, and then we have the Juvia's Place The Magic. They do have a smaller version, but I picked it up when it first came out, so I ended up getting the bigger version. They're just larger pans. I do really like the color story of this one. I just feel like they're really good. This is actually, I feel like if I had to rank them, this is probably like the first palette that I definitely love. Like every single time that I look at it, I just like, it reminds me of how much I used to love it. I definitely have to jump back into it. I love the shade Zuba. And then we have Faso, and I believe I swatched Vey. But even Yara down here is like such a pretty duochrome shade. This is such a good palette. I highly recommend this one. They have a smaller version, and I believe they're having a sale right now too, so it's a good time to buy Juvia's Place. And then of course I have the Masquerade by Juvia's. Again, they do have a smaller one, but I always wanted to get the larger pans. So yeah, this is what this one looks like. You guys can see a little bit of how this shadow is like, you know, because there's so much pigment. They kind of sometimes stain your palette and it looks like grease kind of, but it's just like the shadow that's doing that. So I really like the magic. I wish that there were some mattes in here, like more mattes. I feel like they should have done more mattes with the colorful shades, but they're still like Bori. But the Bori even has like some gold specks in it, but it's still really good. And then we have Sobo, which is like that purple shade. The shimmers on top here are so good as well. I know that someone said that they used to dupe, like that was a big issue with Juvia's. A lot of people felt like their color stories were similar, but I don't feel like this one compares to the Magic. I feel like they both have different varieties, and if you do look at them and prefer one over the other, I mean, totally go for it. You don't need to have both of them, but I do really like both. Okay, so now we're moving on to Pinky Rose. So this is the Pinky Rose Cosmetics Rustic Rose Palette. I really like this palette. It's so good. I really like the shades in here. I know that no one really talks about it. They have a couple more large pan palettes like this one and even an all glitter, but I prefer this one. I just think it's so good. They have all mattes here, and then this one's a shimmer and the whole bottom row is a shimmer. I feel like the way it looks on camera is a little washed out, but it's such a gorgeous palette in person. I'm gonna just do a quick bit of swatches so you guys can see the color story. So nice. Okay, next we have the Pinky Rose Cosmetics Runway palette, and this one is also one of my favorites. Again, we have all mattes here, but the shimmers are only right here, and then we have a shimmer here at the bottom. The rest are all mattes, but I really like the color story of this one. I like the berry tones, the neutrals, the olives, the more like mustard colors, and then the more warm tones down here. These are like the cool tones and these are like the warm tones. This palette is such a good palette as well. I think they're still doing the 30% off stay home coupon code, but this one's really good. Okay, and then we have some JC Cosmetics. This is the Katrina palette, and I believe this was close to like one of the last palettes I bought before I got pregnant, and I still remember it and I still really like it. We do have a variety of shades, your purples, your teals, your pinks, even like this neon orange, and just like really softer shades on top. I really like this palette. I really like JC Cosmetics and the color stories that they put out, and I think they're really nice. I know a lot of people don't like to give indie brands like these a chance, but I definitely recommend to do so because you're going to be really pleased with the formula of these eyeshadows. Okay, and then the last palette that I have in this store, you guys might have seen it already. I did put it in a haul, but I'll show it to you guys once again. And this is the Vintage Rose palette from JC Cosmetics. It does have like a stain right here. Again, it's just the formula of the shadows that tend to do that. But I love the more like, this right here is like so pretty, isn't it? Like, just like all the mauve tones. They're so nice. And then we have like some shimmers down here. They're olive tones, some purples, this really pretty shade called Roses. I can't wait to use this palette. I haven't gotten a chance to do so, and it's all the way at the bottom of my drawer. But I still managed to really just like rotate my palettes every now and then so I remember like, hey, I have this and I need to use it. So yeah, this is the Vintage Rose. For the JC Cosmetics palette, you can use a discount code JCBabe20 and it saves you 20% off. I really like all of the eyeshadow palettes that they've released. Okay guys, so that completes the second part of my eyeshadow collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and turn on your post notifications so that way you guys never miss out a video from me and you guys don't miss out on part 3. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, found something new that you guys might be purchasing, or found this video at least helpful in any kind of, you know, way, if it was a palette that you were contemplating buying and stuff like that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.